Once again, we are going to be getting a really solid week of Pokemon Go content. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the most important tidbits you will want to pay attention to, and also sharing some of my thoughts. Let's get right into it. Alright, how's it going everyone? Jinsula here with a brand new Pokemon Go video. I hope your day is going really well, and let's get right into it. So, this week, we're getting ourselves some new Gigantamax Pokemon, specifically Gigantamax Machamp, and we're also going to be getting a Machop Community Day. It's going to be a really packed week with some really good content. And then on top of that, we're finally going to be able to evolve our Cubfoos into Urshifu, and that is something you will definitely want to pay attention to because this is looking to be a really solid Pokemon when it comes to PvP as well as Dynamax content. So you do not want to miss out on this Pokemon. It's going to be available starting this week. So yeah, let's talk about everything that's going to be happening this week in Pokemon Go, starting with the Cubfoo event where you're going to be able to get Urshifu. The final strike event is going to start on May 21st at 10 o'clock a.m. local time, and it's going to go until May 27th at 8 o'clock p.m. local time. During this time, you're going to be able to get either Urshifu single strike style as well as Urshifu rapid strike style. These are both the evolved forms of Cubfoo, and they're definitely set to be really powerful. In order to get either of these Pokemon, you will need 200 Cubfoo candy, and then you will need to either defeat 30 Dark-type Pokemon in raids or max battles with Cubfoo as your buddy, and that's going to yield Urshifu single strike style. And if you defeat 30 water type Pokemon in raids or max battles with Cubfoo as your buddy, that's going to give you the rapid strike style. Between these two, I believe the rapid strike style is the better out of the two. I'm not actually sure. Once I figure that out, I'll let you know. But yeah, this is the way you could get either of these forms of Urshifu. So make sure you farm up those candies, whether it be through rare candies or through special research, and then be ready to battle 30 dark types or 30 water types in raids or max battles. Now, during this event, we're also going to be seeing the following wild encounters. You're going to be able to get Mankey, Seal, Galarian Zigzagoon, Meditite, Froakie, and then on a rare occasion, you might come across Dino as well as Nickit. And then we're going to get the following event bonuses. We're going to get double the amount of experience every time we win a raid battle. You're going to have an increased chance to encounter Shiny Meditite, Shiny Stunky, as well as Shiny Marini. And then you're going to get one additional raid pass every single day during this event. Of course, in order to get the additional free raid pass, you will need to complete a timed research, which I'll get into later. And then there's also going to be the continuation of the Might and Mastery special research, and then completing this step is what's going to allow you to evolve Cubfoo into Urshifu. You're also going to get additional Cubfoo candies, as well as encounters with Charcadet with a special background. Now, let's talk about what's going to be spawning in raid battles during this event. In 1-star raids, you're going to be able to get Carvanha, Stunky, and Marini. And then in 3-star raids, you're going to be able to encounter Lapras, Hisuian Samurott, as well as Bombardier. Next, let's talk about that timed research. So this is going to be free and available to everyone, and it's going to award you with rare candy as well as Cubfoo candy, and you're also going to get encounters with event-themed Pokemon with special backgrounds, which includes Meditite, Stunky, and Marini. And like I mentioned earlier, completing this timed research is what's going to unlock that one bonus where you're going to get one additional free raid pass every day. So I really do suggest you complete this timed research as fast as possible so that you could fully utilize that one bonus. It's definitely going to have a lot more value the sooner you complete this timed research. And then of course, there's also going to be a paid timed research, which is going to cost $1.99 USD, or the equivalent pricing in your local currency, and it's going to award you with 2 premium battle passes, 4 lucky eggs, as well as 1 max particle pack, as well as encounters with Meditite, Stunky, and Marini. And honestly, I don't necessarily know if this is going to be worth it. For $2 USD, you could certainly get more battle passes, and I do think they could have offered a little bit more. But if there's actually an increased shiny chance for Meditite, Stunky, and Marini, you might luck out and get yourself high IV shinies of any of these Pokemon. So that is something you should definitely keep in mind. Now, this final strike event is not going to be the only thing that is going to be a major highlight for this week. We are also going to be getting a Community Day Classic featuring the Pokemon Machop. This is one that a lot of players have been looking forward to. Let's go over the details for this event. Machop Community Day Classic is going to be happening on Saturday, May 24th at 2 o'clock p.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. local time. And the featured Pokemon is of course going to be Machop, and you're going to have a really high chance at getting a shiny of this Pokemon on this day. Now, during this event, if you evolve a Machop into Machamp, you're going to get the featured attack Payback. And when it comes to this move, it does give this Pokemon a lot of type coverage, but it's not necessarily going to make this Pokemon top tier. This is one of those unique situations where the Community Day move is actually kind of a downgrade compared to the moves that it already comes with. But if you want a little bit of type coverage, or you're trying to formulate a very specific PvP team, then just so you know, Payback is going to be available if you evolve Machop into Machamp during this event. And there's also going to be a special research which you can purchase within the web store. It's going to give you 3 encounters with Machop with a special background and even more goodies. Now I know that for a lot of players this is something they don't necessarily care about, but it is quite unique getting any Pokemon with a special background. So this is your way of getting a Machop with special backgrounds, and I do think personally it is worth it if you're more of a collector. Now during this event, we're going to see the following event bonuses. You're going to be able to get 3 times the amount of Stardust whenever you catch Pokemon. You're going to get 3-hour lure modules as well as 3-hour incense, and then you're going to get additional spawns when you take snapshots. And considering this is a Community Day Classic, just be aware they do not have any other bonuses. It's going to be quite different from a regular Community Day. For example, you're not going to get the trade bonuses that you typically see, so that is something you should definitely keep in mind when it comes to this event. What I will say is that the Stardust bonus alone is actually what makes this Community Day worth it. If you really need Stardust, it's going to be a great opportunity for you to get a whole bunch of Stardust en masse. And the reason why I say that is because during Community Days, they increase the number of spawn points during the event hours, which means you can catch even more Pokemon. So if you have a Pokemon GO++, or if you are able to catch a whole bunch of Pokemon en masse, then this is going to be a great way for you to get a whole bunch of Stardust within a short period. And then after the event ends, you're going to see a special research which is going to be timed, and it's going to give you encounters with Machop with a special background. And then finally, there's going to be field research tasks during this event, and they're going to award you with Machop encounters, Stardust, as well as Great Balls, and other additional items. Typically, these field research tasks involve catching the Community Day Pokemon en masse, so make sure you're spinning Pokestops while you are engaging with the Community Day Classic, and you'll get additional rewards for just simply playing the game. And don't forget that Pokemon you get from field research tasks will have a higher IV floor, so there's a good chance you might actually pick up a Shundo from these field research tasks. If that's your aim, then you should definitely not ignore field research, because they are a great source of high IV shinies. Now, following the day after Machop Community Day, we're going to be getting a Gigantamax Battle Day, which I really feel like they should have flipped it, where they had the Gigantamax Battle Day before the Machop Community Day so that you could get the exclusive move. But I digress. I think it's going to be very interesting that this is going to be a weekend themed around one Pokemon family. And yeah, I do think it's all some really exciting stuff. It's definitely going to be a packed weekend. Let's talk about this Gigantamax Battle Day. This is going to be the debut of Gigantamax Machamp, which is likely going to be one of the strongest Gigantamax Pokemon we've gotten so far. This is going to be happening on May 25th from 2 o'clock p.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. local time. During this event, you're going to see the following event bonuses. The max particle collection limit is going to be increased to 1600. All power spots will host Gigantamax battles, and power spots will refresh more frequently, so you're going to see those Gigantamax battles get refreshed quite often. And then you're going to get 8 times the amount of max particles from power spots, and then you're going to get 2 additional special trades during this event. And then max particles from exploring is going to be doubled, and then the distance requirement for max particles is going to be cut down to 1/4. And then there's also going to be a paid event ticket for this event, which is going to give you 1 max mushroom, 25,000 experience, 2 times experience from max battles, and the max particle collection limit is going to be increased to 5,600. And then finally, there's going to be a free timed research, which is going to be available to everyone. It's going to award you with max particles, encounters with Dynamax Beldum, as well as Beldum candy. And very importantly, with this timed research, it's going to be available at the beginning of the week leading up to this Max Battle Day. So you will have a lot of time to complete it, but just be aware that it is extremely difficult compared to other timed researches. It's going to require you to do a whole bunch of max battles and it's going to be incredibly tedious, but if you complete it, you will get some nice rewards. Usually what they do is they cater the timed research to prepare you for the Max Battle Day, so if you do plan to do this Max Battle Day, it might be worth completing this timed research before the Max Battle Day starts. The timed research will be active from May 19 at 6 o'clock p.m. local time until May 25th at 5 o'clock p.m. local time. Basically, it's going to start with Max Monday, and then it's going to go until the end of the Max Battle Day. Next, let's move on and talk about this week's Spotlight Hour. So, on Tuesday, May 20th from 6 p.m. to 7 o'clock p.m. local time, we're going to have a Spotlight Hour featuring the Pokemon Poochyena, and its shiny form is going to be available, but it's not going to be a boosted raid. We're also going to have a Spotlight Hour bonus of double experience for evolving Pokemon, and this is a great bonus if you need to get yourself trainer levels. So, if you have a whole bunch of trash Pokemon with very cheap evolution costs, then rather than going around trying to catch as many Poochyena as you can, take full advantage of this bonus and evolve all of those Pokemon and make sure you have a lucky egg going. You're going to get yourself a ton of experience. Next, let's talk about the raiding content. So, in terms of 5-star legendary raids, we are going to have the continuation of Azelf, Mesprit, and Uxie in 5-star raids. And these Pokemon are going to be spawning in different regions in the world. Uxie is going to be in the Asia-Pacific region, Mesprit is going to be in Europe, the Middle East, Africa, and India, and Azelf is going to appear everywhere else in the Americas and Greenland. This also means that this Wednesday's raid hour, which is going to be happening on Wednesday from 6 o'clock p.m. to 7 o'clock p.m. local time, is going to be featuring all 3 of these Pokemon. One thing you can do is stock up on a whole bunch of remote raid passes and try to raid all of these Pokemon on Wednesday when there's going to be raid hours around the clock. And that's going to be your way of collecting all 3 of these Pokemon. Just make sure you fill up your friends list with a whole bunch of players from around the world, and then you're going to be able to do a whole bunch of these raids. Check your friends list because you can remote raid directly from your friends list, and that is probably one of the best ways you can collect all 3 of these Pokemon. And then next up, let's talk about the Mega Evolution raid boss for this week. It's going to be Mega Gyarados, which is actually a pretty solid Mega Evolution with a lot of versatility. If you need a Water type Mega Evolution or a Dark type Mega Evolution, this Pokemon is your one-stop shop. So make sure you collect Mega Energy for Mega Gyarados because it's been a while since we've seen this Pokemon in Mega Evolution raids, and there's a high chance we will not see it again for the foreseeable future. And then finally, let's talk about what's going to be spawning in 5-star Shadow raids during this weekend. It's going to be featuring none other than Shadow Regirock, and this is one of those Shadow legendaries which is not necessarily that impactful. It's one you could definitely skip, but if you still want to get yourself a Shadow Regirock with decently high IVs, then get a bunch of buddies together and complete these raids on the weekend. Now, in terms of Dynamax content for tonight on Max Monday, we're going to have a Max Monday featuring the Pokemon Sableye. It's going to be from 6 o'clock p.m. to 7 o'clock p.m. local time, in which you're going to see a whole bunch of Dynamax Sableye appearing in power spots. And then in terms of just generic max battles during this week, we're going to see Squirtle, Krabby, Sableye, and Beldum. And when it comes to these, I will say that Sableye and Beldum are definitely the top picks. But if you need to get yourself a pretty good water type, then Dynamax Krabby is actually pretty good. But just keep in mind that it does have a Gigantamax version for Kingler, and that's probably the one you will want to go after. And then let's cap this off by talking about what's going to be active in PvP. So during this week, we're going to have the Master League along with the Retro Cup Great League Edition until this Tuesday, and then afterwards we're going to have the Open Great League along with the Catch Cup Great League Edition. If you have a really solid PvP Pokemon that you caught recently, then this is definitely going to be the week for you to battle, because the Catch Cup is a really great option for getting yourself higher ranks and a whole bunch of wins, so long as you have yourself some really good Pokemon that you've caught recently. So yeah, this is looking to be a really solid week of Pokemon Go content. We are of course finally getting ourselves Gigantamax Machamp. This is going to be a game changer when it comes to Dynamax battles. I do think that it's going to be really strong against the majority of the Dynamax content, which is proving to be very difficult. It's going to be a high DPS Pokemon with a very powerful charge attack, and I do think for a majority of players, it's going to be essential, especially if they care about Dynamax content. And then when it comes to future Gigantamax Pokemon that we will be able to get, I'm pretty sure that you will need Gigantamax Machamp in order to take those down, considering you need a sheer number of players. And then something else you need to keep in mind is that starting this week, you will be able to do these Gigantamax battles remotely, thanks to some new content. And yeah, it's going to be a packed weekend with a lot of great content. I mean, having a Community Day Classic and a Gigantamax Battle Day means you're just going to have to free up this entire weekend if you want to get the most out of it, but at the very least, you should definitely participate during the Machop Community Day Classic, because chances are we will not get a Community Day for Machop anytime soon, so definitely take full advantage of that. Collect a whole bunch of those XL candies, and if you do participate in getting yourself a Gigantamax Machamp, then you will have enough resources to max it out almost immediately. So yeah, that's basically what I have to say regarding this week. I do think it's going to be a really good time. But in any case, that's going to be it for this video. Let me know your thoughts regarding everything that's going to be happening this week down below in the comments. Is there something in particular that you are looking forward to? What do you think about the rating content and some of the general stuff like the Spotlight Hour? Definitely share your thoughts and let's have a great discussion. And thank you so much for making it all the way to the end of this video. If you ended up enjoying it, make sure you hit that thumbs up like button and subscribe if it's your first time here, and don't forget the notification bell on top of it so that you can stay up to date on whenever I upload videos. Real quick, let me give a shout out to all of my patrons on Patreon. You make this channel content possible. If you want to support the Content Slow channel, if you want to support everything that I do here on YouTube, the best way you could do that is by joining my Patreon. If you become a paid Patreon member, I will add you to my Pokemon Go friends list. So that means for stuff like remote raids, the friendship system, opening and sending gifts. If you want to play Pokemon Go with me, then make sure you go and check out my Patreon. And if you want to support my channel in a completely different way, you're always welcome to do so by following me on social media. My handle is @Jinsula. I'm on the platforms you see on the bottom of your screen. Make sure you go over there and give me a follow, and that will be a huge help to my channel. And that's it for this video. I'm Jinsula. Be safe, have fun, love yourself, and I'll catch you all later.